What's up, everyone? Whoa. Um, okay. I don't, what the fuck is this shit? Okay. I think we're good. That was fucking weird. I look like a character from Sin City. How you guys doing? Frank Miller's Pickle Financial. Still wearing your bear shirt from last week. This is a different one. This one has writing on the front, and it's far less red. Well, it appears to be less red. Although I would argue that it's in fact more red than the other. I'm not going to get into it. Did the doc clear you to buy more puts? Today doesn't seem to be a put buying day. Did we open above fucking 4,700? Yep. That's a bullish day. We are above the monthly GN, but we are below the weekly. Although with the amount of fucking calls on the chain, I would not be surprised if we also go above the weekly, or at least test it. There's a absolute fuck ton of calls. There's a lot of puts too, but there's even more calls. It's ridiculous. It's maybe the most calls I've ever seen. Actually, we opened at 46.99.82. Suck it. Bostic speech 12:30. Yeah, he should be running his mouth. It's expected to be kind of bearish. I sacrificed one chicken to Lady View for every hour you were gone. Nice. This is like the most zero DTE calls I think I've seen since at least June or July. Might even be more than them. Yeah, this is fucking ridiculous. I made money on the pullback to 25. I think I flattened everything in the accounts. I took profits on Upstart, and then I opened this, which is way the fuck down now. Somehow. Maybe I overpaid for it. I don't know. I was trying to open it on my phone. I think I might have overpaid for it. I was so bored. Sounds like one DTE put time. I don't know. CPI is interesting. I think the expectation widely is that it's going to come in hot. Can the market ignore Bostic using this amount of calls? I mean, the market's going to ignore Bostic anyway, right? Who gives a shit what he says? I mean, I guess he's going to be a voting member now, but I still don't think anyone actually fucking cares what he says. Bid to cover on the 6-month, 3.06. NVIDIA announces new graphics chip for AI personal computers. What? What the fuck is the purpose of that? My personal computer can already use AI. Oh man, people are down. You see how Nvidia is trying to get around to the Chinese sanctions again? They're now working with all the Chinese auto manufacturers to provide them AI automotive systems. December 1 year inflation expectations fall to 3% versus 3.4%. All right. Bank of America strategist expects Federal Reserve to announce plans to begin tapering the runoff of its Treasury holdings in March, coinciding with its first 25 basis point interest rate cut. Interesting. SOFR position exceeds 100,000 options for a dovish March Fed bet. Continue buying an upside SOFR play of March options targets a full 25 basis point rate cut being priced into the March policy meeting. The same position was aggressively bought last week for new risk and now stands at around 125,000 lots. Holy shit. Apple Vision Pro will be made available in the US on the February 2nd, for those of you that couldn't wait. Households are less pessimistic on credit access and the financial situation. Expected earnings and spending rises at the lowest level since 2021. Expected inflation 1 year ahead at the lowest level since Jan 21. Expected inflation in 5 years 2.5 versus 2.7 in November. Expected inflation in 3 years 2.6 versus 3 in November. That's still not 2%. That's still 5 years above rate. Okay, whatever. Did you get stopped out of Netflix? Probably. I had a good, yeah, I had a good to close on it, so looks like I did. Still looks bullish. Let's see. Yeah, well, that's not particularly bearish. That was, I guess. Yep. Breaking up higher. Buy. That was a call, right? Okay, fuck. I just put more NVIDIA puts on hearing that. Did you guys, if we break 30, does SPX get more bullish short term? I don't think it gets more bullish than it currently is, but we could see a test of 35.40. Most of the call range for today is still under that weekly GN point. Beyond liquidity look interesting at all? I haven't gotten a chance to look at it today. Not well, it did a little earlier, although now it looks like they're shorting again. Yeah, this morning it looked like there was some covering going on in the pre-market. Pre-market into open, and then that's reversed a bit. Total liquidity on the day is declining. So yeah, it looks like they're shorting. How much is it up? 2%. Yeah, it's off reg show, but they're still netting shitloads of obligations, probably. A little easier to net them now without the forced covering. Can you talk about BNED? What the fuck is BNED and why it's getting seller boxed? BNED is being seller boxed? BNED. How's that being seller boxed? It's got like low volume, but fucking stock's up like 150% in 3 months. Am I done for wanting to open VIX June 2025 Cs? Doesn't even need to go in the money for good gains. I don't know. VIX June, all VIX shit is awful. I don't think those are any better. Is there any liquidity on them? You're not going to be able to sell them at the mid. Clean break of 30 here would seem bullish. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I took profits on Upstart because Nvidia's running, and I'm not risking it fucking squeezing off again uh with additional pressure on bots. It was less than $1 for some time. It looks like it was less than $1 for like less than a month. Well, maybe a month. It was about $1, under $1 for a month. What's the top of the calls? They fall off a bit after 47.40, but I would say that the top is 47.50. Yeah, there's usually better instruments to play vol than actually using VIX directly. Cash VIX is mispriced. I can never bring myself to position with as many calls as I do puts. Statistically, you're more likely to profit off of calls than puts. You're just more likely to profit less. I think we're gonna see 47.50 today. It's not. It's really not out of the range of possibility. There's a lot of resistance at 47.40 to 45. But yeah, it's not out of the question, especially if call buying keeps up at this pace. GME GM, it's like $20. It's also probably irrelevant. Yeah, GME still looks like shit. GM's at 20.50. GME doesn't look good at all. Garbage. Why are you asking what fucking Gamma Max is on GME when it's down 0.5%? It is actually about to slip Delta Neutral. Delta Neutral is at 1586. So it's sitting right at Delta Neutral. Netflix is a big ol' meanie. Yeah, it's being a prick. But all of like big tech is running today. Big broad pumpies just all over the place. Mm-hmm. There's a gap around 50 to 63. Yeah, 50, 54 to 63. Bostic saying some stupid shit. I don't know. Let's see. Inflation has come down more than I expected. The rise in unemployment has been far less than what would typically be the case, given the reduction in inflation. The Fed is in a very strong position right now. The Fed can let restrictive policy continue to work to slow inflation. I expect the process will remain orderly. Biden's also speaking right now. Did I exit Netflix spreads? No, I didn't exit the spreads, but I did get stopped out of the call that I had on here. I don't know what price I got stopped at. I had a good close order on it though. Figure's a good guess. Retail adjacent, getting cyclically shorted. Price is super low. Big run up past couple of months. Fits a few of the bills. For what? Oh, BNED? Um, is it retail adjacent? BNED's a Barnes and Noble's retail stores aren't publicly traded. BNED's like their educational point of sale service. Yeah, it's not, but it's not their like retail stores. It's like their campus like bookstores. Well, Guac, it looks like the Bulls have it today. Yeah, opening higher. Opening higher was not a good sign. Ooh, interesting. It's amazing that even Dow recovered. Yeah, that's fucking crazy, right? Well, I mean, Dow's still down. The fact that we're running this hard with Dow down is fucking nuts. I guess we're putting a lot of weight on consumer inflation expectations today. Although we'd already run quite a bit before those even came out. Used car prices are down a bit, so that's just disinflationary. We have consumer credit change at 3. That might have some impact. But yeah, I don't really think too much of the data today is all that important. EU's inflation expectations are up. So that's pushing, yeah, so the EU data pushing down on the dollar a little bit. a little earlier than I expected. The Bears definitely had a little bit of a better grip last night. It's too bad they gave it all up. Now what? Can they keep pushing tech higher? I mean, I kind of outlined my expectations for the week. Um, so had Bears not gotten burned this morning, we probably would have opened lower, which is kind of what I was expecting, is a lower open and then feed back into the open puts. But instead, we opened higher and they all got blown up. Um, there's still a little bit of a call ramp to the upside, but it kind of fizzles off before 47.60. So I would say that we're probably like in line to see like the test of GN up here on the weekly before CPI. I don't know how much will go up today, but I would say between today and tomorrow, 47.50, 47.60. With 5 and 10 are below 10%, I think that's the real fight. That's interesting, especially with the short position just piling in recently. Micro Center also has like 4 locations, so I don't think they're that big of a Best Buy competitor, but I think, Amazon and Walmart and Target are. Just sort of new cost basis every revolution of the wheel. Usually, yeah, I'm not gonna fucking track it over time. It's a pain in the ass. $47.60, then a move down if inflation's hot. If inflation is cooler, all-time high before a rejection. And then we probably wouldn't see downside till SLD after OPEX. At least on the technical side of things. I think that's largely supported by options as well. But yeah, so like finding this bounce on the 30. This is kind of bullish, but not with a lot of momentum, right? If you guys looked at the charts I posted last night, there's kind of a liquidity gap between 25 and like 75. So we can push through here on 0 DTEs, but then above 75 liquidity gets really thin. So I think the only way we're gonna get a sufficient amount of liquidity above there to break out to the all-time high at like 48.18 is gonna be if we get a cool inflation print. If it's hot, we'll probably be rejected before we ever get to that level. And then, we should come back down, and that'll give us a double top. And then we can come back down, retest the 30 EMA, probably move through it towards the like 50. Do you expect CPI to come in cool? I kind of expect it to be flat, but everyone's projecting it's up, with the exception of like Kashari and Bloomberg. Actually, no, Kashari was just in line. Bloomberg, I think, estimated that it would be like 3.1 versus 3.2, which is down slightly year over year. But Cleveland Fed and swaps are pricing in a hotter inflation print. What's weird about this rally is it's probably going to be hard to pitch like a good bull case for it, because even with Bostic being a little dovish, right? He doesn't see them cutting back QT anytime soon, right? And the jobs reports last week gave zero indication that we're going to see a rate cut as early as, definitely not as early as Jan or Feb, but very unlikely to see one in March either. Neo is like near risk today. Is it looking like a good entry? I don't know. I haven't seen it. So if it bounces on the 200 MA, yeah, it could be a good entry. Liquidity is getting pretty tight, but it's not far from bottomed out. I may chop down here for a while. Between there and like 650. Yeah, I don't know, somewhere between like 8 and 650. I could see there being maybe a worthwhile entry in that range. Man, they are shorting the absolute fuck out of Tupperware. And it hasn't gone down. That's kind of impressive. You know what? I think I want some exposure on this. What do we got for Feb 16 at $2? Just gonna keep going up. Looks like it. All right. Did you ditch Netflix? I ditched the call I had on it, but I still have some debit spreads. I have some like 75, 70 debit spreads. I've got a bit of time on those, and they're not losing a ton of value. So I think maybe I'll hang on to them for a bit. Do you think this is a good entry for Zomcalls to play the shipping rerouting? Or is it likely to fall some more? That whole situation's very, very much up in the air. Historically, this is like a pretty good level for Zom. Might have a little more downside to like 98 though. Oil's down really fucking hard today. It's like 4.65%. No beef. Was it just Feet's crime that fucked the Bulls this morning? The Bears? The Bears are the ones that got fucked this morning. I mean, the run up into open wasn't good for them. Uh, opening above 4,700 was arguably pretty bad. But the breakout on futures at 47.40, that was very bad. So the opening range was not great. But yeah, breaking out above 47.40 on futures definitely increased the likelihood of us moving up to test like the bull signal, bull confirmed to the upside. I figured you meant Bears. Yeah, the Bears needed a lower open, which they were in the process of getting in the overnight trading session, but not so hot as of this morning. You think Oxy is good at 58? I want to buy 100 shares, but that would make it over 50% of my port. Maybe I could wait for it to go lower. It's not a terrible price on it, but you probably could. Let's see. Yeah, there's a little bit of range there to the downside, probably before we start seeing Buffett buy a ton more. But I would target like if I was gonna make another buy-in, which I'm not, I would probably target like 56 to 55. Like 56.25 to 55. Beyond is off reg show as of last Friday. It doesn't mean it won't go right back on reg show. It's got a pretty long history of being on and off, but it's off for now and for the next what is it, 5 trading days or 11 trading days, something like that, before it can go back on. I always forget the number of days before it can be relisted. What are your general Neo thoughts? Targets, is it still an in progress thesis? Kind of. I think the buying on it recently created a bit of a liquidity suck. Um, Obviously that's been tampered down, but I expect that it can be a pretty big beneficiary of increased auto sales or EV sales, especially in China, as their economy reignites. But their economy hasn't really reignited yet, so I feel like there's a lot of time to kind of get in it. I made a little money on its like breakout of the 200 MA, but not much. I didn't have a very big position. So I'm kind of look for a low on it and maybe start selling some CSPs, but I'm not in any kind of hurry to be long on it. A lot of things can go wrong there, and they're like all of those positions, anything to do with China right now is just super high risk. Are you still long Baba? No. No. I think I've been out of a Baba for a couple days. Didn't make very much money on it. Never broke out. Well, it did break out. It just didn't break out high enough. Let me take a look at it. If that started to bounce from here, it's not like a bad double bottom. But if it fails that support, that's really bearish. You're high risk, and all I can think of stops. Yeah. I mean, Neo's not that dangerous because it's fairly cheap. Baba's a lot more risk than Neo is. But it's also the stock that'll probably rip the most if China turns their shit around, right? Your next leg closer to end of day. No, I think we just kind of keep grinding up. I mean, we might get another breakout at some point, but I don't see any reason for one now. Like not a fast one. We could just keep grinding and grinding, pushing the upside. Yeah, I know Neo's at 8. Still looking good for a test of like 47.35, 47.40. Let's get that at like 560. A turnaround on QQQ? Actually, I would say the bounce on QQQ probably has more range than ES does. Like I can see a test of 1700 seems pretty easy. I started figuring get Rainbow Bear was a bad idea. Yeah. What gave it away? Was it all the green candles? Cats on thoughts on Cat 300. There's so many sold calls up there. I don't love it. It's not impossible, I guess. Although Cat didn't look very good going into the end of last week. It's okay. A little bit of pickup in call interest. How's it doing today? It's up like $1. Yeah, it's getting kind of close to a breakout. It might push higher again. Like if it breaks here, I can see it moving up and maybe retesting 3. Although a failure at that point would be pretty bad. So you'd want to be out quick. But I don't hate it. It's an okay setup. Ugh. Sorry, I haven't had like any caffeine today yet. I'm very tired. Did you get stopped out of XRT? I got stopped out of XRT February's, I believe. At like 150% or something. I haven't re-entered anything on it, but I probably will. Or wait till after the ETF FTD period, though, in case there's any covering there. And then pick up. Maybe I'll pick up March's. Yeah, maybe March. It still hasn't bounced back above Delta neutral, I don't think. If Fubita's pumpies up to the 350 range or higher, do you think it could fall back here? Yeah, that's not impossible. It depends on how much liquidity gets freed up. Right now, that's none. But we might start seeing some covering soon. So far, just a lot of shorting. Maybe more of the insane column volume coming. Also, what expiry was that? It looked like today. It looked like a fat chunk of that expired today. There's still a ton of volume across everything up to like 47.40. Above 47.40, it kind of falls off a bit. We could get like a little pullback here, and then maybe another move higher in like an hour or so. Oh, what expiration? Sorry. Um, hmm. Yeah, most of the volume for today on today. There's almost as much gamma for today as there is for Friday the 19th. Like they're only like 13.5 apart. Hmm. I think it's high time for a rug pull. Yeah, could be. Although I feel like most of the day's been high time for a rug pull. I'm kind of pissed that I got stopped out of my call. That was cheap. Hmm. All right. A little bit of a VIX increase there. Real rejection or dip before rip? Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be anything we get. I think at this point is gonna be kind of like dip before a rip. What's up, Cobra? You have calls? Tesla bounced a little bit back today. I did get stopped out of my Tesla puts, by the way, pretty early this morning. It was nice. We got the test of 35, but yeah, the video went full fucking ham. What's Dole doing? Dole's kind of recovering a bit. Neo looks good. Maybe Neo looks really good. What do we have coming up for news from China? No, I have no position. How are we doing? Things still look bullish. I don't, people keep asking me. I think they're expecting me to say that it doesn't look bullish anymore, but it still looks bullish. And realistically, like, we could run to, like 40 or 45. Like, there's enough room for us to run to like 40 or 45, especially now that we're above gamma neutral and they've got like a good dip buyer. Every time I go to the kitchen to make myself something to drink or something to eat, you buy a contract that does 50%. I don't think that last contract did 50%. It did okay. It was like a dollar or something. 25%. Like $1.10. It wasn't that great. Calls usually suck. That's kind of the problem with playing the call side. Derek, what do you think about this one that I opened? It's a 1 day $40 debit spread. It expires tomorrow, but it's 30.70. When I got back, it was up 44%. Well, I got stopped out at like 560, and I think the contract costs 430 or some shit. Hold on. I don't think it was that fucking great. Oh, okay, never mind. I bought it for 350 and I got stopped out at 650. So I made okay. Never shut up. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. It's not about you. Please stop targeting me. What's interesting? The rampant dip buying? Don't stocks move to T+1 in May? I'm not sure. I think so. The May 28th, right? Like end of May. It'll change things. I mean, options already settled in T+1. Dude, I bought these so cheap. Look how cheap I bought them, Dorg. That's why I bought two. Gary Gensler murdering Bitcoin, bullish for the economy, and bullish for the stability of our fiat currency. That's the thing, is that no government is ever gonna allow crypto to go unchecked and unregulated. It presents too much of a risk. People don't like changes in power dynamics. So really, theoretically, the best crypto will be the most centralized and the most easily regulated one. Bitcoin does not fit the bill. I just saw news from Jen saying about Jensen's meeting with India's PM, where he had a deal for Yada to acquire a bunch of H100s. Maybe this Nvidia run is from India making up for Chinese sales. Oh, it's a they announced a whole bunch of shit. They're doing like a fireside chat. They're fucking they're gonna make AI chips for laptops. Not that laptops don't already have those, but this will be special and different. And they're gonna give the Chinese chips, but in automobiles. That's their new way of dodging the sanctions put against them. Embargo? Not really an embargo. What is it, Dork? Are you still just in bewilderment at how cheap I bought these options for? They sold them to me. It's their fault. It's not mine. I didn't do this. War on crypto, same like war on drugs? No. Drastically different. You still buy your drugs with fiat currency. Crypto's only value is the fact that it can be transferred back into dollars. If Bitcoin could not be redeemed for dollars, it'd be fucking worthless. So it's still just greater fool, right? somebody's got to come in and buy your crypto for dollars. And if there's no one there to buy your crypto for dollars, then Bitcoin's not worth anything. Just realized I was behind. About 10 of the same option for 20 cents more. Ooh. Yeah, I can't do 10 options in this account, not yet. Two's about my max. Do a kickflip. I don't have, well, actually I do have a deck, but I have to find it. It's definitely in my storage somewhere. I have tensor trucks on it. In a not so distant future, when Gherkin owns 65% of Japanese real estate, I hope you tweet, I didn't do this. Do you have GM on NVIDIA? Yes, I do. It is 523.89. Oh, you sneaky bitches. Hmm. No, I feel like that's still bullish. If you're poor like me, why not just trade SPY? You can. I don't particularly like it because it doesn't cash settle, and I think on cash accounts or maybe all accounts on WeBull, they'll sell your 0 DTs out from under you at the end of the day. Fuck that shit. Yeah, it's also not tax advantaged. XSP is though. I think SPXS is as well. Don't quote me on that one, but I think it is. SPXX and SPXL. XSP spreads are also ass. Yeah, but I mean, why would you sell spreads on that? You can sell spreads on the SPY. You just don't want to buy 0 GTs on the SPY. So, SPX profits are taxed at 40% short-term rate, 60% long-term. I think that might be backwards, but I think that's right. I don't do a lot of taxes ever. So you're gonna leave the in the money contract and not sell it by the end of the day? Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to. I mean, you probably want to, but you don't have to. How crazy expensive are storage units in New York City? Cheaper than apartments. Can you find some with power and Wi-Fi? Maybe like out in Brooklyn. There's some shady spots, but no, I mean they're not that bad. My storage unit's out in Long Island, so it's pretty cheap. It's like I don't know, like 200 or 300 bucks a month, something like that. If it was in Manhattan, it would be way more for way less storage space, but only crazy people get storage units in Manhattan. Like people who need, I guess people who need to access their storage frequently. I don't. I don't have anything in there that I care about really. Can't you just put the things in that house you own? Well, the house is kind of I don't. Yeah, I could, but then I'm gonna move it there. Fuck that. BTC 50K end of week. I don't care. If this pump fails, how much downside support are you seeing? If it fails, there's decent support down to actually kind of starting to lose downside support from in the money call, like profit taking on the call side. I would say that there's probably pretty good support at 30.25. Your pink duct tape is on Long Island? Probably, yeah. Rent out the Manhattan storage unit as an Airbnb twice a month. Bam. Does the house have a garage? Yeah. Although I don't have the clicker. I was told that it's somewhere in the house, but I've never found it. I can open it with a keypad, I guess. It's kind of annoying though. Maybe I can link my car to it. Huh. I've been here too long. I got the reference to the colored duct tape. That was like 3 months ago. I think you could buy a universal one. Yeah, probably. Any hard feelings from the guy whose house it was? No. No. He's a weird dude. I don't know. He's like, I've hung out with him a few times since it all went down, and he kind of just like played it off in like in a really weird way with his wife, where he was like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of the outcome I wanted anyway. Like we didn't need the extra house. You needed a home, and I wanted you closer to Long Island." And they're like one of those couples that like infers that I'm somehow their child's uncle, even though I don't like their child and really want nothing to do with him, which I've been very honest about. He's a little asshole. Like, he is not well raised. I didn't father the child. It's not my kid. A real uncle might feel the same way, to be fair. Yeah, it's alright. Yes. Yeah. I didn't drop it. Dropped it himself. No, you're not my children. Put him in his place, educate him. Man, the kid can't even eat meat. Alright, it's just too much work. Yeah, to be fair, I feel that way about most of my nephews too. Yeah, I'm not related to the person in question at all. Like we went to school together and we got drunk far too often in the same place. And I may or may not have gotten him out of getting prosecuted for some things a few times. You know what it is? His dad really likes me. I think to his dad I'm like everything he wished his son was. So that relationship's really weird. Especially given that I'm like a 30-year-old man. Gert got me out of hot water after my incident at the Bass Pro Shop. 36, dick. I'm not 45. How old is the dad? God, he's got to be like high 60s now. Profit taking's kind of killing the upside a bit, but hopefully they push past that. No, I think I'm 36. I was like 30. Was I 33 when I started doing this? I should be like 36 now. 34, 35, 36. Yeah. Are we 2 Novembers away from Freg's Day? I don't really know how old I am sometimes. Yeah, but I've never had children, so I'm just gonna look young forever. Get wrecked, parents. I don't even get good sleep, and I look younger than most of you. It's the worst when someone asks how old you are when buying alcohol. Dude, I don't know. I quit counting after 30. I quit counting after 21. My kids are grown, so I'm young again. That's how it works. Only for men. I didn't design the structural sexism. Society did. Do you have that gene where you only sleep 4 hours a night? I don't know if it's a gene, but I usually sleep about 4 hours a night. I hate it when it's odd years, so you're like using your fingers, muttering carry the two and shit. Did you strategically exit Netflix? No, I think I just got stopped out of my put. I wasn't really around for it. Dork, why is it not going up? This is your fault. I want a rug pull to save my dead 4710. So wait, you're telling me I was at the doctor's office having my like sinuses inspected with a candle on a stick, and I was able to close 4715p before you. I don't want to hear it. It's cool. They sprayed that like that cocaine stuff up my nose. It's very exciting for like 5 minutes. If you guys have never been to an otolaryngologist, it's not lidocaine. I think it's actually just coke. I was looking at the data and I believed that the market would give a fuck. Oh, I see. That's okay. That's a reasonable mistake to make. But I didn't have your sexy the market is going to go up bullshit fake ass manipulated fuckery. All right. So more up? Did you get a couple beers in you first? I mean, I had breakfast, which he was not happy about. He was like, "Oh man, that smells like applewood bacon." And I was like, "You know what? It was." I would hate to have a job where you had to sniff people's mouths. Leg up in 20 or continue to chop. I think it's more likely that we move up than down. They fought off the like push of downside momentum pretty well. So I think yeah, another leg up isn't unreasonable. Either today is one of those days that we go up, but calls still aren't profitable, or someone rugs it and all the chat cries. I mean, it's already one of those days where it goes up and calls aren't very profitable. Like any non-remote job. This is now 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 on the market surging up and getting down to some serious volatility risk. It's fuck, it's like fucking 5 for 5. It happened in August, and then it happened in October, and then it happened. Was it back in April? There's been several of these. This isn't the beginning of them. So it's August, September, and October. We reversed on every big pile of risk. March, end of December. Uh, yeah, once in April, twice in May. There's a few of them, but Vega risk is substantial below 4,700, so it makes sense that they try to defend it a bit. Um, I will say that like the upside doesn't look very fleshed out, and there's not a lot of liquidity to squeeze. So even if the bear rally continues, it probably doesn't have a ton of range unless CPI comes in cool. Where's the milk? I drank it. There was an impractical Joker's punishment where Q had to smell people's breath, and guess what they ate? Would have been funnier if it was breasts. Already 500k 0 DTE calls on SPX. Absolutely ridiculous. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about August. Yeah, it's happened a few times. It's annoying. How much of last year did we have VIX above 20? Those were good times. Not much. It was like March and October, right? I think those are the only two. I think those are the only two times last year we saw VIX above, like substantially above 20. I think the VIX high for 2022 was like 31 or 32 or something like that. I rewrote someone's copy for them just so they'd stop trying to ask questions about editing it with their breath. I'll just do it for you. Go away. I see. Huh. Please don't let this be one of those days where you zoom out in Power Hour and see that we've traded in a $4 zone for the entire afternoon. It's already one of those days. No, this has gone up, right? This has gone pretty much straight up since this morning. There's been a couple of pullbacks. I don't think any of them would have been all that profitable to short. Maybe this one. 25. What was that? Fucking 30 to 23. And then there was like 24 to 18. They suck. All the pullbacks have sucked. Let's see how this looks on futures. Okay, not a lot of volume. Very low volume breakout. Could be meaningful, I suppose. That wasn't too bad. All right. Are you doubling down on Nvidia shorts or waiting a bit? Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I don't think I have any near-dated shorts right now. I still have some bullshit left in March, but I think that's largely hedge off at this point. I kind of wait for it to top out. Once I see sold calls piling back in, I'll sell a bunch of credit spreads on it again. That's been pretty successful in the past. My Netflix spreads for Jan 19th are ouchie down down. Roll them? Or get out of them? Don't let your shit get in that position in the first place. Maybe bring up to 40 and touch 45 for a second so I can get some sweet greens. Getting rejected off of 35 on this breakout here is really not the best scenario, but that's where we're at. What entry are we looking for on Bed Bath & Beyond? That stock doesn't exist. Oh. Yeah, I'm just kind of tired. Oh. Big spike in 35 volume. 40, and then 45 is resistance. I see Bostic. Oh, Bostic said he sees 2 quarter point rate cuts appropriate by the end of the year. It still looks bullish. I know I got stopped out, but it still looks pretty good. It's a 475, 455. Can you roll it out at least? Like out past SLD and OPEX? You could cut the short. There's another. You could cut the short put and sell a new short put above your long strike. So flip the spread over the other way. It's not gonna claw back all your losses, but it could claw back some. I mean, you should have closed it and waited before you were down a bunch. Interesting that 2 cuts is 1/3 the current market expectation. Well, he said 2 quarter point cuts, which is like two less than the market expectation. What range does QQQ have? Quite a bit. maybe like I would say it probably has better range than SPX, but I don't know. Next big resistance is like 406, then 410, and then 413, which would be well, I grabbed some QQQ because I think this pump is gonna carry through tomorrow. That way we're already like pushing the upside, but I would say potentially QQQ could go up like 7.5%. Just seven, I guess like 7%. Which would be like 5180 on TQQQ. So rejection off 35, not bullish, but consolidation up into 35 after bullish, yes. Yeah, yeah. The recovery, I mean, it didn't fall very far. The rejection wasn't good. But I think that's more an issue of how little volume we have right now. Another rejection here might not matter either. They're buying the dip pretty heavily. No pullback whatsoever today. I don't expect one. At least not yet. Maybe later in the day. But right now, yeah, I don't expect one. Greg, I'm financially ruined. My port is down $11.71 today. I'm sorry to hear that. When's Japan's next rate decision? Around the same time as ours. No. Over the next few days. Like maybe today and tomorrow. If tomorrow runs really hot again, then potentially QQQ has about 7% range. Or, well, no, not QQQ, TQQQ. QQQ has like 2.43% range. Because they had a special dividend. I keep getting power outages, so I think that's bullish. Texas has such a good electrical grid. So cat doesn't look bad. I just don't love this. Like, I don't love it, but it doesn't look terrible. It could. I don't think it's unreasonable. Like, I could see playing, like, I don't know. I probably don't take a lot of risk on it, but I could see going, like, uh, so that's kind of fucking massively overpriced. Maybe something like that's appropriate. Three. Why don't you think the run continues longer? After cool CPI, there's a rate cut narrative, right? Well, because CPI can either extend the run or kill it. So I'm really only focused on what happens before CPI because the results of CPI are not, well, they're not predictable. I think there's a slight I think there's a slight chance it comes in hotter, like at 3.3, but it's more likely to come in at 3.2, point 2, uh, point 0.2 month over month, point. Yeah, so this is like the Cleveland Fed estimate is like 0.25, but I think we're probably likely to see that. That's not cooler though. That's just stagnant. Coming in at 3.1, I see as more of like an unlikely scenario, like 0.1 month over month, 3.1 year over year. That I don't see happening. I think core is going to be up. I can see core coming in at 0.3, but I think year over year will be down, like 3.8 or 3.9. Did I just make you open a position? Actually, NW told me about it earlier, and I meant to open a position on it, and then I forgot to, and then you reminded me. Why is the PE of AMD over 1100? They don't make a lot of money. Well, I shouldn't say that. They don't. They spend a lot of the money they make. What should I have for lunch? We're pushing past 47.40. 47.40 to 45. There should be some resistance. I wonder if I should play a Tesla bounce from 40. Tesla, you dirty bitch. 40 to 47. $10 spread. Ugh. Gross. I don't like it. Too risky. Netflix is at resistance here. If that fails, I'll re-enter more shorts. What's Tap doing? Tappy, tappy, tap. Hmm. Curious. Netflix making a right shoulder. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Seems like a decent average down spot. Well, I mean, I'll average down by like 75 70s. But I might open something else on it, depending on if it fails here or not. Have you been to Double Chicken? No. Have you hedged Vega positions at all, or just letting them ride? I'm just letting them ride. I don't think I have any reason to hedge them. Not right now. I have long positions, so I mean, I guess I'm theoretically hedged against any loss they would experience, but uh, I haven't. Actually, you know, VIX really hasn't gone that low yet. I bought like a big chunk of them when we were under VIX 12, like 1250 to 12. So they're not doing too badly. I don't think I need any more hedge besides just like some intraday calls, which I already have. I have like some short dated call debit spreads and stuff. How's Tesla looking for this week and going into earnings? So going into the end of last week, which is really the last day I have options data for, Tesla wasn't looking too hot. But it's still held above like negative gamma territory. Today's bounce technically confirms or comes fairly close to confirming a bounce off of gamma neutral. It should be bullish. It might be worth playing the upside on it, although I don't expect their earnings to be very good. I don't really like the range Tesla's in. It's kind of an erratic price range. There's a lot of potential for failure on bounces and a lot of potential for rallies on drops. Um, and until it clears 50 to the upside or drops below 30 to the downside, like this specific range, I really fucking don't like. Oh wait, you guys can't see that. That I hate that shit. It's I use white. Like this range just sucks. Because it's still kind of bearish up here, right? Until it crosses up here. Um and it's not really bullish till it gets like that breakout at 50. And it's not really bearish unless it falls under like 35 and 30, right? So in between here it can kind of just go like this. And I don't like playing like tight ranges on Tesla like that. It tends to be a really good way to just like get your money ground up. I'm gonna colloquially call it the money grinder. The most embarrassing position you currently have, or the most embarrassing position you have ever held? Hmm. I think the most embarrassing position I currently have, and well, I mean, don't forget that at one time I did own BBBY. So the fact that I've also owned AMC in the past. I mean, back when it was worth owning, but still, I did have AMC. That was arguably my most embarrassing position. I would say that my second most embarrassing position, um, I owned Alexander's at 300 and it was like $390, and I still own it at 216. My cost basis is pretty low and it's got a fat yield, but I probably should have sold it when it was 400 bucks. So that one's always kind of haunted me. I've increased my position size, which helped a bit. And I don't think they're gonna like go under or anything, but fuck, that sucks. I guess not selling GME at $350 is a pretty big fuck up too. Although I did make that back. What your most embarrassing position was Eiffel Tower with Dork and Carl's wife. There's nothing to be embarrassed about that. We locked eyes. It had to happen. Simple as that. Yeah, that's just bro code. That was the proudest moment of my life, right? It's like seeing your newborn child come into the world. Should we touch tips? I mean, I am a centaur, right? So this embarrassing position was going into a deal with BP. They can't be trusted and they have funny teeth. You know, my BP position has just been fine. I haven't had any of the worries with it that I've had with Zom or Oxy. I bought it and it's up and it's just stayed there and it's never made me unhappy. The real Eiffel Tower is mutual nipple play with gentle necking. I thought it was when you like reach out and like massage the other person's scalp. Ooh, that does sound nice. Hey, look, more bullish things are still happening. Okay, Dork, clearly this spread for tomorrow was a great idea. Sorry I was 1 to 2 days early. It's okay, you'll figure it out one day, Sayuri. Thank you for your daily board-approved centaur therapy groups every market day. They've really helped me come to terms with living as a centaur in a human world. Much love, Deep Fried Pickle. Congratulations, man. So who knew NVIDIA calls would do 500% today? No one. Literally no one. I mean, until they started announcing news, which didn't print for 2 hours into the run, but is there someone at my door? Oh, hold on, I'll be right back. No, I didn't cut any Vega positioning. One trade, 2 calls, 5 minutes, 100% gains. I'll see you all tomorrow. Later, man. I'm up 180%, but I can't close the call until tomorrow. That's shitty. Don't forget your TQQQ position. I'm gonna hold that through tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hold it through tomorrow. Yeah. Enough calls still coming in above. Oh, we're getting near the top here. 45, 50 resistance. At least for now. Remember that as we get towards the end of the day, we may see more out of the money call buying, but right now it's not there. No small pullback. Not yet. No. I mean, this is kind of a small pullback. Arguably. 46.50 end of day. Torque, you know that's not true. Your 45.10 is dead. 47.10. Netflix bear flag 1 hour. Okay. Sure. Netflix bear flag on the 1 day. Bear pennant. That's why I said if I see Netflix break down tomorrow, back towards like 75, I'll probably pick up more downside exposure. I really like Netflix, and I kind of explained this on the member stream because the range is extraordinary. Like if this fails, it's probably got more range than most of mega cap tech. Like it can go from like 64 all the way down to like 15, 20. So like $44 of range. That's huge. Yeah, there's a member stream. It's every Sunday. I put the link in the announcements on the Discord. Seems like a lot of theta for spreads. They're for end of Jan right now. It's like I guess it's the second. Second is the second the expiration at the end. Something like that. I have to go look. Give me a second. I rolled them a while ago. Second. $436 of downside. On what? Yield curve today. Yields down, SPX up. Yields up, SPX up. Well, no. Yields up should be SPX down. At least that's how it worked last week. There's TD? No, that's a joke. Netflix earnings is after OPEX. What do you do there? Hopefully get the fuck out before earnings. I'm having a terrible day trading. How? It's only going up. What's the problem? Did you get like stopped out too early? That's still money, right? You said I'm missing the ups. Oh, maybe maybe if you're like busy at work, why don't you try like one DTE or something? I bought one of those earlier. It's been doing nicely. It's up like so just like a nice one DTE debit. I don't have to think about it or use my brain. I just dropped a roasted almond in my shoe. Bullish? Yes. Was your foot in the shoe at the time? How much theta for straight puts on Netflix? Febs are quite pricey. I'll probably get Febs. Uh, but I'm gonna wait for it to turn around. I'm not gonna short it yet. It's too soon. So now the QQQ is topped out for the day. They start pumping breadth. Why is QQQ topped out for the day? It's still got range. SPX is getting pretty close to being topped out. But they could always come in and buy more calls. Just because we're at the top of the calls doesn't mean that they can't get more of them. A $14 Ford DTE Jimmy CC's safe. 14 4 DTE? No. That's risky as fuck. I mean, it's safe if you want to sell your shares at $14, I guess. Roast level solid, light brown, and unsalted. Mmm. Hmm. I mean, it would have been more bullish if it had been a smoked almond, but it's not bad. My wife thinks we should get bidets. She's right. She's also maybe telling you something about your asshole. I don't want to judge, but generally I think if that comment comes up in a couple's conversation, you may want to think about how far you've let hygiene slide over the years. I say that with love. And you should just have bidets anyway. Wiping your ass with paper is for Neanderthals. Is the water cold though? It doesn't have to be. Although there are benefits to having a ice cold bidet. You can hook it up to hot water. There's ones that have warmers built in. You can hook it up to cold water. I hate waiting for a Netflix entry, but I want Feb 2, 480, 450. But now it's probably going to bounce right when I buy it. Probably. Yeah, that makes sense. Getting in there with that 450 test. Almost no resistance between 440 and 445. I mean, I guess we ran into a little bit, but fuck, it didn't last. Think spicy food? I mean, not only spicy food, but just if you haven't blasted yourself in the asshole with ice cold water first thing in the morning, beats the shit out of energy drinks, I'll tell you that much. Are dude wipes the next best thing? I guess. Yeah. What's the range on this? We're getting kind of close to where the top of the call interest is on the daily. It's tuning into the market. This seems slightly stronger than a bounce. It's kind of within. It's still within the range I expected over the next couple days. I will say it's all at once, but tomorrow could end up being super fucking flat, right? Because it's the day before CPI. Truly wheelchair ramp down, elevator up. Yes, I'm salty. Yes, I bought calls and I got stopped out at 47.20. That's why you're salty. It's just you didn't hold your calls long enough. I was pretty clear that this wasn't going to stop going up when I started streaming 2 hours ago. CBI's Thursday? Wait, what's on Tuesday then? Fuck. Oh, we have the auction Tuesday. Are you sure? Am I losing my mind? Fuck. I am. Okay. CPI Thursday. What the fuck did I mistake? Oh. Whoops. Okay, yeah, so Thursday. I wonder if we see de-risking at gamma neutral. Would you hold your 4670 calls overnight to DTE? Still out of the money? No. No, I wouldn't. So gamma neutral on the weekly, which is the next one to the upside, is at 47.60.19. We could fill the upside gap. Yeah, it's like 53 to like 64, some shit. So if we start seeing de-risking, we're gonna see Vega risk reduce. So we're looking at that Vega exposure every night. Also, generally when it happens, it causes like violent downs and huge spikes in VIX. So it's pretty obvious when they de-risk like a significant amount of short puts all at once. The previous periods where we saw a lot of that occurring were, you know, from like August through October. But mostly during the rally periods. So like that like early early September rally, and then we went down, and then we had that like late September rally into the downside of October. Um, Most of the de-risking we saw occurred in during the rally periods. And at the end of the day, we would see Vega risk reduce. So it's something to keep an eye out for. Although I don't think I've seen any like upside test sell-offs that indicate de-risking. However, if CPI is hot, we may start to see a lot of that. So it's something to pay attention to, but I don't think it's worth worrying about right now. 30-year auction Thursday, bank earnings too. Yeah, I don't expect bank earnings to be too bad. They got to lean on the carry trade pretty hard all the way through November, right? So that shouldn't be too awful. At least net interest income should be up. I know deposits aren't up substantially, but they are up a little bit. The 30-year auction is kind of interesting, but it's small. It's like 27 billion. I would say that the 10-year and 3-year are probably going to be more broadly impactful, but the 30-year might trigger like a spike in volatility. I guess it depends on how much it misses by and how much gets forked over to the prime dealers. But it's been a lot lately, right? I don't know if I like a put here yet. It might be too soon. Yeah, it might still be too soon for a put. Yeah. Maybe not. Might get a little bit of a pullback here. 35-ish is not out of the question. Although they bought the fuck out of the last point at which we should have gotten a pullback. So be careful. But yeah, it might be worth trying. Maybe I'll try it. See if this bounces a little more first. Hmm. It's the right date. I don't have a Volmageddon bedtime story. I'll see what I can find. 100%, 10-0 GTs. Thanks for your teachings. I'm gonna go ride a bicicleta around Rome. Is that the... Oh, okay. Have fun, man. Wear a helmet. It's fun because all those planes got grounded, right? Only thing that makes sense. No, no. Although maybe some of it may be to offset the risk of that. I don't think you need to worry about us wearing helmets. Most of them have them on right now. Fair enough. Alright. Noted. Do you think gold will hit 2,400 in 2024? Seems excessively high. I suppose it's possible. It depends on if we get currency, like a substantial amount of currency risk or not. Which I think the Fed is trying to avoid. But I suppose that central banks expect some. They've been buying a lot of gold. Calls that open were straight gas today. Yeah, they're pretty good. Hmm. Why is your strategy to bore us with top and beyond? It just has nothing to do with you. It's 4074 What? I pinky promise I won't position based on your answer. But you really think market participants will let this pump to a new all-time high? Does it undermine the market's credibility? What credibility? The market doesn't have any credibility. When would you enter gold price range wise? Ideally under 19. Or well, under 2000, so 19. I've been long gold a few times over the last few months. I would say I like entering below 1950 and then below 19 if I get an opportunity has been pretty awesome. Sorry I made you buy a put. No, it's okay. I want the put. You had almost no influence over its purchase. Hmm. PE ratios definitely don't justify SPX being here. I mean, they do because they're all massively blown out. You think gold likes it when you enter below 19? None of my business. Everyone's expecting a big bounce today, so since I'm a contrarian, I didn't buy any calls. Fair enough. I guess I'm grasping for logic other than positioning on why markets are so overvalued. Don't assume that markets are logical. Embrace the chaos. Do you still think we hit your price target, XRT? Yeah, over time. All I have left on it are 68 March calls. And if I buy or puts, and if I buy more puts on it, I'm gonna buy them. I'm gonna buy them in March. I closed my Febs for a profit already. Not really because I thought XRT was gonna run super hard today, but I just don't want to. I don't really want to hold them through the FTD period, just in case something crazy happens. Oh, my food. $52. Some calls at 55. Those came in quick. Materials flows, huh? We're going long energy, short materials. Oh, there's short energy, long materials. Hmm. Had I held all the calls I bought, I would have doubled my port, but I keep cutting at consolidation, thinking we'd get pullbacks. That's how you trade. How much did you make? I mean, frankly, the M should already be kind of pissed here. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. I made 20% on my total port, so it was a good day. Not complaining. Sounds like you did pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, it'll come with experience. You'll get better at setting your stops. You'll know when to set them wider, when to go a little bit more narrow. Um, it's I mean, I'll just tell you, you'll get better at it over time, but it doesn't come easy. A lot of the yeah, I don't want to stop eating to explain this, but I will. A big mistake that a lot of people make is they'll enter an option, like say they went long here, right? And then they'll set their stop here, right? Expecting to like catch the continuation. And then they get stopped out, right? So the problem with doing that is you're kind of anticipating getting the best of both worlds, right? Instead of just closing the position here, um, you're being greedy and you're trying to aim higher while locking in the prior profits. Now you can lock in some of these, right? But locking in the full range of profits, you might as well just sell the option, right? Because you're gonna get stopped out on basically anything that isn't a 100% continuation, and that's even more obvious in a position like this, right? Where you buy here, and then if you set your stop here on the pullback, you're gonna get stopped out, right? Even though the market then goes back up and moves to a higher range. So you have to be willing to accept some drawdown if you're gonna try to play a continuation. That's just the way it is. But you can't. The more you try to get both, the less likely you're gonna still be in it when it starts to move up even more. I was down 1,500 trying to short SPX earlier, but now I'm up 900. Nice. Yep, consumer credit is in 6 minutes. What do you see when you look at the OPEX expiry for C, SE? I don't know. Let me look. Looks like it gets some OPEX runs occasionally. Looks like it squeezed the fuck out of shorts post-COVID. Yeah, I mean, it looks there's probably short vol interest there. Oh, look at the options chain. They haven't stopped. Hmm. Yeah, pretty constant. Call interest does fall off into 60 a bit. And then 65 and up is still really low. Puts with theta here to play a potential de-risking of 47.50. Hmm. Let me look at tomorrow's expiration. Probably not. What's up, Rabbit? Appreciate everything I learned from you. I just started trading futures. So far, so good. But do you have any words of wisdom? Don't over leverage. Futures in a tight range might encourage it more than almost any other asset. If you think you can't get blown up overnight, you fucking absolutely can. So, but as long as you stick to that, you should be fine. I mean, it's no worse than trading SPX. Arguably better. Jesus fucking Christ, only up? Well, not only. There's some red candles in there somewhere. I want to tell you good luck, JB, but I don't believe in that, so I hope you do well with it. It's a little easier to manage risk on futures. At what point will the market maker get mad at the upside of this today and push back down? I think we just saw that, actually. That was about where the market maker gets pretty angry about all this. Jesus Christ.
engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Consumer credit, total percent change up 5.7%. Revolving from 2.7 in the prior month to 17.7 this month. Non-revolving 0.9 in the prior month to 1.5 this month. Jesus fucking Christ. So consumer credit actual 23.751 billion versus the forecasted 9 billion and the previous 5.13 billion. It's consumer credit, not bank credit, Ben. That's the largest spike, I think we can say ever, right? Can we safely say that's the largest spike in consumer credit that has ever occurred in the history of consumer credit? Jesus Christ, defaults are going to be fucking frightening. Gork, will this time be different? Never is. We hit my PT at 47.50. Now I have empty hands. What am I supposed to do with my hands? All right, raise your desk up a couple inches. Scoot forward. Put your hands beneath your desk. You'll figure it out from there. You're right. Banks have nothing to do with consumer credit. I mean, they give it to the consumers. Well, sometimes it's banks. Instructions unclear. Super Peener 500 stuck in table leaf insert. Pro tip, y'all, if you do that a lot, you're going to want to get a scraper for the underside of your desk. Even better, just cover it in epoxy. Clear. My hands are in my asshole. I'm typing with my tongue. Help. What if your cat's under your desk? Pet the cat, right? Sure. Yeah. On the Billionaire stream, you mentioned Netflix might need more time. What are your thoughts currently with today's pump that it needs more time? That's not how you spell kitty, Maze. Begins with a K. Either you fucked up the K and the C, or you forgot the L. Too damn old to get back up. Please call 911. Don't you have one of those necklaces? You should get one. First day back at work in 2 weeks. Corporations are depressing. Well, at least you're doing your job, you know? Yeah, I think it's fucking hysterical that everybody on FinTwit's like, oh, look at the BTFPs at 140 billion. I'm like, the FHLB's at 800 billion, right? 820 something billion. This is 5.7 times larger. The reward for doing your job very well is more work. Yep. Can anyone recommend a hydrophobic coating for the underside of my desk? My roommate found out how much gum is stuck to the bottom and is threatening to move out. Well, I mean, first of all, why is your roommate under your desk? Second of all, I think you can just use that shit they sell at Home Depot. I did the smart thing. My desk is just a whiteboard. Like, whiteboard was one of the choices for your desktop, and that's what I chose. You know why? That's on the Home Depot credit card. It has revolving bonus categories, and they take collateral. Jesus. I'm trying to eat my cream of potato soup here. You chose a bad day for that one. Don't you get marker all over your arms? No, I draw on the parts of the desk where I don't put my arms. Is whiteboard same like making white on board? No? What's the saying? 1 gallon of gum stuck to the bottom of your desk is your problem. 100 gallons of gum stuck is the roommate's problem. Well, outsmarted me. You didn't make it very difficult, Jason. I can't think of anything more bullish than consumer doom spending until bankruptcy. It's a lot of, it's not a small amount of consumer debt. Maybe I should rethink being long on things right now. When do I get more day trades in this stupid fucking account? It's got to be a problem, right? Like that's too much credit all at once. That was someone's idea. Oh fuck, I don't get a new day trade till Thursday? Son of a bitch. It's gonna drop into your put end of day? I fucking hope not. That would suck. But it is dropping. I guess I have some downside hedge. Not much though. How much white on your desk is the bank's problem? I mean, so it's bullish because companies have clearly gotten that money. But it's bearish because people are obviously going to default on a huge chunk of that debt. That's a lot of debt. Why did consumers spend $20 billion on personal AI NVIDIA computers? It's fine, Guac. Everyone has 12 jobs. That's such a massive increase in put interest. Like, that's crazy. That's so much fucking like, if that's just from holiday spending, buy now, affirm later. Affirm's gonna go out of business. Can you summarize the consumer credit report? Consumer credit 3x'd? Clock, you ignored my milestone chat. No, I didn't. Uncle Gherk, please make this do one large red candle to 47.40. I mean, a part of me would prefer that it didn't do that. Hmm. I'm sorry, Cobra. My put would prefer it. I mean, my puts would like it too, but I can't close this particular debit spread. I guess I could. But God, that's so shitty. Then I won't be able to trade again on the margin side till Thursday morning. That's Tuesday, Wednesday for 10% of my account. These decisions. Dork, do I add 10% to my account and cut this super awesome debit spread? Or do I hodl? Hodl overnight into absurd consumer spending. I like how you didn't even hesitate, Popcorn. I really do. Hedge it? Ooh, I could hedge it. Okay, okay. But I also can't close the hedge. But I hear where you're I hear where you're coming from. You know what I'll do? I'll get more theta on the hedge. No, that's stupid. Hmm. Play it as if you don't have extra money to add to the account. I've never added money to these. Well, the initial money had to be added, but after that. I mean, I think the smart. Who the fuck is knocking at my door? Hold on. Okay, cool. So where was I? I forgot what I was doing. Ooh, I need to close my call side on my straddle. I beefed my short leg on my straddle this morning badly. Like really badly. I got on I was on a phone call and then so I had like what did I have? I think I had like 4700 Ps. Um yeah, I think I had a 4700 P. And I was on a phone call and then I checked my straddle again when I got back to the office and we're already at like 4720. Jesus fucking Christ. You were gonna hedge or hands into the hedge? Oh, hold on. Okay. Yeah, so this. um, so I could do Jan 19. $60 wide. $16.60. Uh, 1660 is like 1.6. Hold on one second. You know what I think the smart thing to do here is just I sell those, but what do I got? I've got ninth sold 70, bought 30. 1180 and 110. So out of like, so buy, put 50, Solid touch. $30. Okay, so yeah, I think we go Jan 19. $25 wide. Uh, 30 wide. Okay, cool. That should be good. 1 second, I'll be right back. All right. Door again? Yeah, yeah. It's going to be an ongoing thing, I think. They're installing things in the hallway. So he wants me to prop my door open, which is weird, but that's Are you implying that my mom is Jen the librarian? That's ridiculous. Tell chat I figured out how to avoid ads for mobile. Stream YouTube, Discord audio, but mute the media volume. Boom, live updates. Rugged handsome face. No hot singles in my area. Should move to a better area. Is trying to ghost your trades? I don't think so. Odds we just close here. I think that's a distinct possibility. Gherkin, you never responded to my milestone. I probably never saw it. Should I YOLO into 4800 0 DT, or is SVX about to tanky tank? I'm trying to manage my risk more and not disappoint you too bad. Oh, Jesus. That's a terrible idea. Look at the TLT pump. They really don't want to lose 50. No. No, they'd probably like to keep this. There's a lot of their Vega risk is packed in here. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Now the management company's gonna call me. Hold on. Oh. There we go. It's gonna be a guy knocking at your door to ghost your trades to make up for the low rent. Cool. He's just gonna start living with me. Any room for angry market making? Are we stable now? Dangerous. It's so dangerous. It's like calls are just getting cheaper, right? I know, my sweet monies. Oh, that's okay. I should have bought a 0 DTE spread for $50. That's right, Gherk. Man, I am dangerous. Chomp. What? I hate this market. Did you not buy calls again? This is getting absurd. There's the top of the ES bull range. Almost. We're very close. At this point, I would just kind of expect us to test above 4,800. What is even driving this? I thought there were like no puts left. Oh, they squeezed out all the put stuff a while ago. I mean, sold puts? There's tons of sold puts. $60, I guess, isn't unreasonable. I'm gonna fucking sell some calls here. This is bullshit. Oops, that was the wrong date. Okay, let's try that again, but for the right date. Market's doing a GameStop. Is there enough volume for Nvidia to reach 526? I have no idea. I would imagine that there's a lot of sold calls at 20 and 25, but I don't know. Remember sub 4690? Good times. That was Friday. This is a new week. New year, new you. Be talking, man. Live, laugh, love. Last week you said look for banks making more loans. So why are you surprised by 3x consumer credit? I mean, people also have to be willing to spend 3x more money on credit, right? We haven't reversed all of last week's downside, just a lot of it. New week, new bull market. We're still gonna go up till CPI? It's possible, yeah. We're still below GN on the weekly, which is moderately bearish if anything would ever actually sell off. 5-year almost back over 4%. Interesting. Huh. Dork, I sold calls. Like a lot of them. Some I accidentally sold on the wrong date. I'll have to get rid of those later. But I sold some on the correct date as well. This market run is stressing out the financial system. The market maker is probably very upset. Yeah. Yeah. Sell more? Well, they're not worth it now. The risk reward's not as good. I mean, I sold all of these, but I accidentally sold some for Jan 19 because WeBull doesn't revert back to the 0 DTE option. It just goes with whatever one you used last, which was Jan 19 for the debit spread to hedge the other debit spread. So now I've sold quite a lot of calls. These were great. This is the call I wanted to sell. This is the call I didn't want to sell. What's your win rate recently? Last week was fucking awesome. It was like 5 for 5. I think I made money every day last week. I made money today too, so it's so far this year batting 1,000. PayPal was consumer credit a month-over-month metric. Anecdotally, my credit card bill was $2,500 for November and $6,200 for December. $5 more down. That'd be cool. I'd actually like $20 more down here, I think. You know, I've got all these open positions now. I could just close the debit spread, take my $1,200, and then if the hedges print, cool. Right? Hmm. I have a strict rule about credit. I don't like to take credit unless it's for leverage. PDT, yeah, I have one trade. One lonesome little trade. Until Thursday. But $1,300 in one day is it's almost 10% of this account. Actually, 20% of this account if these close out of the money. So it'd be those and this. And yeah, I would plus 20% the account. Or I can hold it all till tomorrow. I mean, these I don't have to hold till tomorrow. But this I would have to. Some risk. We didn't clear GN, so we're not completely bullish. I just don't want to fall back to gamma neutral at like 47.22 and get fucked out of the whole position. Yeah, I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna I got enough open shit here to play around with for the next couple of days. I wonder if they'll give me 24. Oh, it's going back up. Hold on. Wait a second. 24.50. Total cost was 10. What if we get 24.70? Fuck, bought it right away. God damn. Goodbye, sweet day trades. You will be missed. Did you get PDT'd? Well, not PDT'd, but I have no day trades left. So I didn't get like a warning or anything. I just don't have any day trades left. Todd Vixington III, welcome to Zillionaire. Thank you so much, man. Hit me up on the Discord. I'll get you added to the country club after the stream, dude.
Yeah, we might have a chance, but we ain't got ropes. Give us more
Most
than a
likely
chance, 'cause we ain't
close
no code.
47
The cash in advance, 'cause we hold in the flow. If you are what you eat, that makes Gherkin to go. Hoping that you read the DD, 'cause when the shit squeeze, we go end up with the moon, man. Racks to the 510, we leave while I'm selling CCs like another fucking moon wind. Praise be to RC and the BY, please, 'cause I need G and me to move soon,
I would
man.
expect
Got the man
60 to
GG
fail.
on the CNBC saying that he ain't seeing no collusion. And we might be apes, but we ain't that Joe. Motherfucker trade trades, this is popcorn code. When the Citadel
I would
fails,
expect
I'm a
60
the
to
Elliott
fail.
waves like a Kramer on
Like
coke. Yo, but we ain't
majority
no
of interest is at 55, so if 60s take profit here, we should pull back towards like 67 or so. But there's only 8 minutes left, so they may just try to pump higher. I don't know if like I don't know what tomorrow's interest looks like. I have to give me a second. I didn't even really have that many bearish positions left this morning. Like most of my bearish shit I was out of last week. Music needs to be louder, Gloria. Sorry, I blew up everyone's eardrums. So tomorrow's expiration, yeah, a very decent amount of call interest at 65 for tomorrow. So I think that's what they're trying to push for here. But there's still a very good chance that we fall back under 60 in the last few minutes. So I would say closing range for today, probably like that. Somewhere in there. Bro, that bass be slapping. Music needs to be louder. Can we make more of an effort to become a cult? I think you could afford a compound in Wyoming pretty easily. Ew. Why Wyoming? Are they more cult friendly? $63% up on Cat Weeklies. I hate this. I might sell half. It doesn't seem like it's usually not a terrible choice. Well, Wyoming gives Colts extra tax deductions. That's kind of cool. So I ask frequently, can you foresee Upstart still hitting 20s in 1 to 2 weeks? I never foresaw Upstart hitting the 20s in 1 to 2 weeks. I said the next downside resistance below Delta Neutral is at $17. And I have no fucking idea how long it would take to get there. So I made 1070 2475 minus 1070. So 1405 on that. And if this closes below 60, which would be really fucking cool, stop bouncing, you fucks. Where are you going, Vex? Looks like I'm on the cash account for the next couple of days. Yeah, it's fine. Land and housing in Wyoming are like 1/10 of New York City, and that's high-end figures. But all the billionaires live there. They have compounds there. I just don't get bothered as much if you're into cult things, but I guess we could become a neighborhood cult based in abandoned hotels somewhere in New York City. I don't know if there's a lot of those just laying around. But I lost out on 3K because I was away. Shit happens. At least you made money. I would never have imagined SPX doing this today. Yeah, I thought this would happen tomorrow. So this is a bit unfortunate. We'll just so what's the idea? We start a church that's also a hedge fund, and all the profits, like the more profits we make, the closer we get to God. Is that how the religion works? But we don't pay taxes on those profits? Yes. That's how the Mormons do it. Yeah, but they've got 200 years of history. Damn, they're gonna get it, dork. Bastards. Ding ding. The day is done. Wow, that was interesting, at least. They really put in the effort there to try to push us up towards those 46.75s for tomorrow, but we still fell a bit short. Let's take a look at the goodies. Futures failed to break out above the 48.0375 resistance, although we did test it. Failure to break out there on the 15-minute probably means a small pullback into tomorrow, or maybe in the overnight session. I would say 47.90 around here. This was a pretty important level previously. And then, you know, maybe retest in the morning session tomorrow, or into the early part of tomorrow. I don't think we have very important data tomorrow, but we do have the 3-year auction with a $70 billion offering. And if that were to print a tail, I think that could have a pretty dramatic impact on volatility. GME down today, finally slipped below delta neutral. Goodbye bulls. Upstart still chopping around delta neutral, but getting a lot of tailwinds from Nvidia running like fucking crazy. That tends to pressure bots, and it dries up short liquidity, which is obviously a big problem when trying to short something as illiquid as Upstart. So maybe be careful trying to short this for a little bit until some of this rally calms down. I think we saw about $5 billion of delta per minute today, right? Okay, something like that. So that was something. I mean, that was a hell of a pump. I'm glad I was on the right side of it. Fubo moved up a little bit today. No real change in liquidity. I guess over time it's getting slightly more illiquid. But they're also like covering on IWO, so it's really hard to say how illiquid it's getting. Remember, we have ETF FTDs this week, so that could spark a little bit more covering, and maybe we'll see 350 or the upside of 350 before the end of this week. Sirius, still just a $5.50 stable coin. Top, really shorting the fuck out of it today. Big move in liquidity. Just slamming it into the ground and getting literally nothing out of it. Actually moved up 6 cents over the prior close. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if I've really seen that excessive of an amount of shorting without any downside price movement, but I would say most of the volume today, the 1.6 million volume today was short, which means it's not only is it getting extremely illiquid, their ability to short is running into like pretty severe diminishing returns. You know, when you're shorting this much and the price is going up, that's usually not a good sign, especially if you're the one shorting. Upstart liquidity continued down. We got a little bit earlier in the day. We had a little bit of covering, but that kind of went away. Tips are actually contracting again into the end of the day, though. So it's possible that we're going to move into another period of covering here on Upstart now that it's off reg show. And the last period of covering from right about here to the peak, saw it run about 60%. I would say that this isn't quite as illiquid as it was towards the back end of November, but it is pretty illiquid. And if we keep getting that pressure, especially from R2K, we may see shorts forced to capitulate here, especially ones that are short, you know, in this range, where we do see a significant drawdown in liquidity. Hold on, let me go back to the daily so you can see this a little better. But these shorts are kind of fucked. As are any shorts that occurred during the reg show period. Because remember, it was on reg show during this entire run, and they shorted it the whole time. That's reminiscent of GameStop, especially because the run was so large. From bottom to top, like 100%. Shorting through the entirety of that with synthetic liquidity means that, you know, there's some potential. I don't think it's exactly 100%, but some amount of the, let's see, some amount of the 162 million volume traded in that period of time, probably greater than 50%, is sold short synthetically. So that could have a pretty interesting impact. We'll see how it goes, but I mean, it is starting. It can be several more days for that to collapse, but it is looking like that's the way it's headed. Yeah, I know this is beyond. No, whatever. Yeah, we're talking about beyond. What else for today? Broad commodities down. China had a rough night. Dollar still edging up against that 102.50 resistance. I guess pulled back a bit, but yields didn't pull back as much this time on the rejection as they did on the prior one. I think we're still likely to see a breakout in yields and the dollar before we know it. The short position on treasuries has been growing quite a lot and keeping yields down while they get shorted massively. Probably pretty difficult. Core 1 month and 3 month turning around sharply today, which should be expected given the frequency of volatility shorting and the sheer scope of it. Carry trade, not really well leaned into, I guess, a little bit towards the end of the day, but was mostly breaking down up until that point. They've forward yield on volatility tapped near its prior high at negative 0.97 and pulled back to negative 5.63. This is, however, over time getting closer and closer to positive. And the yield curve, one of the things that the forward yield of volatility being positive infers is that we are entering a recession. Like, I think it's like within 3 to 6 months after it moves positive. Move I don't think is updated yet. Skew down a little bit today. Frankly, I would have expected to see a larger move in that given how hard we pushed up. Jesus Christ. Vol shorting now at all-time highs. Well, not vol shorting, but the correlation between VIX cash and VIX futures is at the lowest level by almost 13% that it has ever been. Holy fuck. I don't have enough puts, do I, Dork? What was it back here? Hold on. In 2010, before the flash crash, it hit negative 30%, and we're at negative 40. Huh. Okay. Anyway, lastly, 52.88% of the SPX still below its 20-day moving average. I feel like that should be better. Maybe that hasn't updated yet. Yeah. So give that a minute. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good night, everybody. Later.
Kenny's Mayonnaise is a proud sponsor of Pickle Financial, so when you get a hankering for some creamy, delicious mayo after a long night of snorting, sweating, and pacing, grab some Kenny's.